sure enough, like that video dropped in my DMs. It was like blue check marks. All these YouTubers I watch, AdamLZ, Whistling Diesel, I want 8 of those. The shop owner's still out working on the cars, wrenching on the cars, and he doesn't have time to stock his bolt pins. But with that QR coded system, you can send the receptionist out. You scan that code, goes right to that exact item.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Minnoxide podcast. I'm your host, Harris, aka Minnoxide, man of many automotive aspirations. And I'm here with my Ford-loving co-host, Dan, Mr. Gunna Garage.
Yep, that's me.
And today we are at the Racing Junk booth. First of all, shout out to Bobby for getting us this location. Very cool to film it on site here at PRI. But our guest today is none other than the owner of boltsandnuts.com, Andy Graham. Like the phone, like the teddy bear?
Yeah, like teddy bear, graham cracker, Teddy Graham, whatever you want to call me. I've heard it all.
So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, what boltsandnuts.com is, and then honestly, we'll just kind of go from there.
Yeah, sounds good. So we're a 5th generation fastener company. It goes all the way back to my great-great-grandfather who sold bolts. They always said our family's a little screwy. I tend to agree with them. So we are an online distributor. I started this company with my sister back in 2013 and my father. Really the generation to bring it to the internet. We currently stock over 24,000 different products. We stock over 500 different pre-made bolt assortments, and we ship them all over the United States. It's really cool products, everything from like hex bolts to flange nuts, flange bolts, just electrical stuff, just a really big array, and we're constantly adding stuff. But like I said, it's all e-commerce, all online based.
Well, Dan listened to your episode with Cooper.
Yep.
I was more familiar with you because you guys sponsored a Whistling Diesel video, I believe.
Yeah, we did, yes.
So you guys are familiar with a lot of the big YouTubers out there. Yep. So obviously you have a brand presence.
Yes, sir.
So we'll get into all the fun stuff you do, but I'm more so curious on what is it that makes you guys you? Why are you special to the market? Why would somebody go to order from you over somewhere else?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we're a family business. I started this company with just my sister and my dad. We're up to 35 American families now. So the big thing with me is the company's become a lot bigger than myself. So we all have the same goals and aspirations within the business, which drives us. But what's really cool about every single thing we sell is every single thing comes QR coded. So from the bolt kits, you have the drawer kits where you open the lid, there's a QR code right there. So when you need to go to restock or reorder, normally you'd have to write it down, go find it on the web somewhere, try to reorder it. Well, you scan that QR code and it's gonna bring you to a list of those exact items in that drawer. Or maybe even the bolt bin. Every single bin label's QR coded. So you scan that QR code, it's gonna go right to that item on our website that's in that bin. You could buy 1 piece, 100 pieces, a full truckload, whatever you're looking for. It makes reordering super simple, and we ship it right to you. So it's a direct connection to restocking your supply. And not only that, but even if you just buy like a washer from us, you don't even have to buy a bolt kit. It comes with a free bin label with that QR code on there. You can stick that on your baby food jar, your bolt bin, wherever you store your fasteners.
So do you do everything from just like one guy who wrenches on his own lawnmower to like big shops and
Great
stuff?
question. Yeah, so we don't go after the major production lines, like maybe like a GM or Ford. There's other guys that will do that stuff. Yeah. We are retail fasteners, so core at heart. So like guys working on stuff in their garage. People that are weekend tinkerers, hey, it's even so much, not just automotive, we work with farms, industrial shops, maintenance shops, to small and medium-sized businesses, OEMs, people manufacturing things. So that's our core business.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy like me who's been fishing through 5-gallon pails my entire life, I even have the little drawers and everything, but nobody takes the time to sit down and actually break it out like it's supposed to. It all goes in a pile, and then you're digging through the pile, and sometimes maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah, well, hopefully when you're digging, you don't hit like a tapping screw or a nail that's just in there.
Happened, yeah.
That's how I got these scars. But I always use like a bigger bolt, to dig through
a
bolt bucket.
Yeah,
go through so you're not
it all out on a flat surface. And,
right. Yeah. It's like Legos,
Yeah.
But Yeah, so we bring organization, and all of our stuff is super affordable. Like, there's other guys that sell bolt kits, and they're super high priced. All our stuff, if you want to hand assemble something like that at the hardware store, like it's going to cost you 3 to 4 times more. So, we like to offer value to our customers, keep it affordable, offering the QR code system completely free. It's just something we added in there. And actually that system, it came about from the pandemic. We were all sitting down at tables just like this, scanning menus, there was QR codes everywhere. And I could tell you the exact table and chair when I was like scanning, and I'm like, holy smokes, how have we not, like, bolt bins? Let's put these on bolt bins, and it just started from there, and it led to being every single product we sell.
Was it Applebee's?
Was it
a 2 for 32?
Chi-Chi's. But yeah, so but that's just how we do things, just a little bit different. I love being affordable. I love offering the price, the high quality parts. It's just who I am. Again, 5th generation fasteners. My family's been doing this for a long time. I grew up playing with nuts and bolts. My background, I'm self-taught and everything. I love building websites. I love making videos when I was a kid. I was in the AV club. I was the guy that was filming graduations and dances and the morning announcements and editing videos and building websites.
So real popular then.
Right, exactly. Yeah. 4 eyes.
Yeah.
But I was just that guy. I was building websites just for fun. So I worked for my father's fastener company, who was the largest flange bolt distributor in the United States. And he sold to all the big guys like the Fastenals, the Worst, McMaster Carr, like a lot of their flange bolts, and very corporate style fasteners. And working for him, traveling all over the world. I've been China, Taiwan, just all over the place for fasteners. So I was kind of tired of that at a young age. I always say my dad put me through fastener college. I started in the warehouse packaging fasteners, to sales, to purchasing. He taught me everything I knew, and when I was 23 years old, we decided we wanted to start getting online with the boom of internet e-commerce, and at the time we weren't sure if anybody was gonna buy fasteners online. People didn't trust the internet like they do now.
Yeah.
So what was that first year like? What was the structure? What was the selling model?
So of the boltsandnuts.com, essentially, yeah. We actually started on eBay. We just posted some stuff on eBay, started taking off, and then we bought flangebolts.com, which is our first website actually, because my father was the largest flange bolt distributor. We were selling his products online, and then we realized, hey, flange bolts is like just a small avenue. There's so many other types of fasteners, right. Sockets, hex bolts, whatever. So we started just posting on there. Like a phone call would come in, I would literally take that call, enter the order, go out, pack the order, ship the order, drive it to the post office. I did everything. Again, starting with just my sister. My dad was like a silent partner essentially, and my sister and I really ran the operation. And man, I'll tell you, it was long days, long nights. I spent many days getting up at 6 in the morning, heading into the office, staying there till 2 in the morning, sleeping in my office chair, waking up, go home, shower, and just do it again. Literally the first 2 years, literally just grinding. Building and adding and just.
So was it growing pretty quick right out the gate then? Because if you were just staying pulling late nights and early mornings.
Yeah. So there was something there. It was not quick. It was not an overnight success by any means. Lots of hard work. It was real steady. And so we hired our first employee, Justin, who still works there. And my whole thing too is you can kind of control your growth, right? So you start getting people on, if you wanted to grow like this, it ends up irritating a lot of people, and it kind of messes with your processes on how you grow.
That's
so
what I was gonna say.
I like to grow like steps almost, growth, kind of get used to it, growth, get used to it. So now we've had some cool boosters, like you mentioned, we work with a lot of YouTubers, pretty much all the top main automotive YouTubers, YouTubers, farmers. That's kind of a cool story. That actually all happened because of PRI. I don't know if you
want. Yeah, get into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's a lot of people that the online commerce thing is only going to get bigger, right?
Yeah,
and there's a lot of people in those first initial steps. So, I mean, how do you make those partnerships and connections? Because, I'm sure one of the things you may struggle with or may have is some partnerships don't work out either.
Right.
Did you have any of that as well? Or what does it look like in a successful sense?
No, absolutely. Yeah. So we're a family business. So like, we get along most of the time. Like if I do get in an argument, I have to go see my sister, my dad on Thanksgiving. Like it's just kind of how it is. But so the way it happened for us, right? It's kind of the right place at the right time and a little bit of luck, being in business. And it's kind of like being prepared. So we joined PRI. It's our 4th year here.
Okay.
We had just had the idea of the QR coded labels. We weren't even putting them we started with the bolt bins, and we weren't even putting them on the bolt bins yet. So we were coming to PRI. We hired a kid. He's like, hey, my brother goes to this podcast, he goes to this show. It's called PRI. I honestly had never even heard of it. I'm not a major car guy by any means. I know SEMA, but never heard of PRI.
Yeah.
And so this kid, he's like, hey, my brother goes to PRI. They do really well. So we're like, hey, let's sign up. We signed up last minute. We were just had the idea of these QR coded bolt bins. And so we're like, screw it. We'll just put them on there. We're not really selling them yet. Well, if we get any orders here for the QR coded labels, we'll bring them. Well, I wasn't at the booth. And sure enough, Cleetus McFarland, massive automotive YouTuber, his guys were walking around. Jack, Stan, Jimmy was walking around, and they were looking for a fastener sponsor. So my cousin Gary actually talked to him at the booth. They had no idea who he was, just like a regular customer. And I'm a massive Cleetus fan. And so he just ended up talking to him. And sure enough, 2 weeks later, we got a call from the Cleetus McFarland. Hey, this is Cleetus. Again, I was not in the office. I missed the call. Frick.
You just keep missing everything.
I'm missing everything. So the guys are like, well, Cleetus from Florida. There's more than one Cleetus.
And when he calls, he introduces himself as Cleetus?
It was Cleetus. Yeah. So that's how people know him as.
Yeah, that's true.
So unless you really follow him, most people know him as Cleetus. It was, so he called, again, like I said, how many Cleetuses are in Florida? There's a lot more than one. Sorry. Yeah. But, so we looked it up, caller ID, Garrett Mitchell. So it was the Cleetus McFarland. And it was really cool. So it ended up working out. Being a huge fan, and actually so much to 2 years before even coming to PRI, I sent him a DM on Instagram, and those guys get so many DMs. I thought he was going to reach out, hey, I'd love to work with you, and copy and pasted the message literally in bed one night to him and Whistling Diesel. Never heard back, so long story long, but
that's fine.
Yeah,
that's why it's long form.
Long story long, but ended up talking to him and said, hey man, we'd love to work with you. I want to get you set up with the setup, a Mac Daddy setup. He's like, man, that sounds great. I was super nervous. I had never been on YouTube. A lot of this stuff and these big bolt kits were kind of newish to us. And so he put us on a standalone episode on his second channel, which he didn't really have to do. And I went there, filmed a video, got it up, and I thought I was done. I was like, thank goodness, I'm done. This YouTube stuff is so stressful. I'm meeting this massive YouTuber that I absolutely love, total fangirl. And so when the video was over, I'm like, thank goodness, done. Sure enough, that video dropped in my DMs. It was blue check marks. All these YouTubers I watch, AdamLZ, Whistling Diesel, I want 8 of those. Just who he is.
Over the top with him all the time.
Over the top,
yeah.
I want 8 of those. And so that's really how it came about. We work with 24 major YouTubers, Demolition Ranch, Cleetus McFarland, AdamLZ, Boosted Boys, Mike Finnegan, Vice Grip Garage, C-Boys TV, and there's other guys too, obviously, but
I'm sure it's a long list.
It's a long list, and I always normally I have a list in front of me just so I make sure I don't miss anybody, but a lot of cool
just sprints back to the booth.
Yeah, right. Tony Angelo, I'll be back. Hey, hold on for 1 second. We'll be back.
Just breathing heavy. Yeah. All right, 13, we got this guy.
Yeah, so it's been really cool, and everybody we work with is super awesome. The most legit guys, legit. There's a reason why these guys are famous and why they're successful YouTubers, because they are who they are. It's not fake. We just did Matt's Off-Road Recovery, Robbie Lane, just a couple more coming to my head. But it's been really interesting. It's been really neat. It transitioned my job to running the business to so I hired a company president now, so handles everything. So basically I do all our social media, dealing with these YouTube clients and partners, and it really changed me from thought I was always going to be the one running it and in charge of everything, to
Yeah.
really having to step back and looking at the big picture and steering the ship in directions. So it's kind of interesting, but that's how we got involved with it, and that's the story of how we started working with YouTubers, and the power of influence is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, like, if you're starting out, yeah, definitely reach out to influencers, I mean, they're amazing guys, and they've helped us out big time.
Well, you've taken an industry that I think kind of gets overlooked, right?
Yeah.
Like nobody really gets down to the bolts and nuts of it, right?
Right.
It's and you've modernized it and brought it into current times, which
Yeah.
it's just obviously working for you.
Right.
So that's pretty cool to see.
I mean, I'm literally selling the same bolts my great-great-grandfather sold,
Right.
like
Yeah.
It's boring. They're the nuts and bolts of the world. That's what
Yeah.
they say, like it's supposed to be boring, and we made it fun. Like I do TikTok, I do Instagram,
Yeah.
Facebook. So, I make it fun and interesting, and like kind of created a face to the company and like an image to the industry. The fastener industry is very old. There's still a lot of companies you go into. They have the old Rolodex inventories, like where's this at? I took 50 pieces, cross it out. Everything we do, barcode scanners, like I love technology. I love implementing technology for more than one reason. It's better for our customers because it's more accurate,
Yep.
It's faster, it makes people's jobs easier. So
How do you compare to something like an ARP or something like
Yeah.
that? I mean,
Great question.
If you were, because they're in this similar industry, but kind of a totally
similar,
different
yeah,
deal.
totally different company. ARP is a great company. They make
Yep.
super high American-made product, high quality American-made products. They really specialize in like stud bolts for this make, this model. Like their model is different. We
Yep.
are more like the standard, like, hey, I'm building a deck, I need some wood screws, or I work on a farm, I need some carriage bolts. So we offer, I don't know how big their catalog is, but we try to appeal to everybody, not just the racing
Right.
world. A lot of people know us through automotive stuff, and we're much bigger than that,
Okay.
bigger than that. So
Yeah, I mean, even if you're an automotive shop, like how many times am I going to my bolt bin and I rearrange my shop every now and again, and I'm like, I have like a stainless steel tabletop and I want to bolt it in between two of my toolboxes or something, and I'm just putting stuff together like that. I'm not going to reach for an ARP bolt.
Right,
You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
there's definitely,
Specialized.
yeah, there's all kinds of, that stuff I believe gets used way more than
Yeah.
any of the other stuff.
Well, then again, if you're buying you're building a 2,000 horsepower race car, like you want the best of the best, and that's
Right.
what they're known for. Like they're a trusted brand, and it's like that's not our business. We don't try to compete. I don't consider ARP a competitor. And as a matter of fact, I would love to distribute their brand if they would be interested, because
Right.
it's a trusted brand. That's a great brand. They've been around for a long time. I don't know the story behind them, but I'm sure there was families involved, like generations of things, just like us.
Right. So I can't remember if you touched on this in the very beginning, but how was it done before that? I mean, so like, let's say you're even just a small mechanic shop.
Yeah.
I'm not even thinking about just your average garage guy, but how were they being handled before
Sure.
that, before your QR code
Sure.
system?
So what happens there is you would have a guy come in, restock your bolt bins. Well, what ends up happening is that guy generally gets paid a commission. So he's trying to put as much stuff in those bolt bins as he can. And over the years and working here and stuff, we just hear like people are not happy with their fastener vendor, the guy coming in, restocking the bolt bins, because maybe like you have a bolt you never used, you finally use one, and they're going to put another bag of 100 in there. Now you're going to have 199 bolts you've never used, and you're paying top dollar for that stuff. And a lot of times too, with our system, it's direct. You're ordering it, you control your inventory. I'm using thousands of these, you can buy thousands, not a problem. You're not waiting on some guy to come to the shop, and if you're not using enough, they just end up stop coming, which we hear a lot of. And what's really cool, like the way I look at it, because I'm a small business and I started from the ground up, like the shop owner's busy. A lot of times the shop owner's still out working on the cars, wrenching on the cars, and he doesn't have time to stock his bolt bins. But with that QR coded system, you could send the receptionist out, maybe
Yeah.
a secretary. All you have to do, everybody's on their phones nowadays. You scan that code, goes right to that exact item.
We'll get back to the show in a second, but if you or your shop is building a car this winter, you might need components for an exhaust, an intake, charge piping, and who knows what else, because builds never end. If you need mandrel bends, flex couplers, T-clamps, and more, Make Hayes Performance your first stop so you're not sitting around waiting on your stainless steel goodies. Check out everything they have to offer at hayesperf.com and use code Minnoxide for free shipping as well. Let's get back to the show.
You know, I want a bag of 100, bag of 50, buy 50 of everything, whatever it is. So it frees up. It's going to save that small business time. It's going to save them money. You know, we ship fast. A lot of our products are there within 2 days. You know, if it ships same day. So we ship a lot of stuff 2 day, next day. 2-day air. We offer next day air shipping as well. We understand, like, especially our business, like, you need to go to work and your brakes broke on your truck and you're working on it in your driveway on jack stands. Like, you need that bolt quick so you can make it to work, you know, like that's what it is. So we don't sit on orders. We try to get to you as quick as possible.
Well, there's companies like Amazon that have set the new standard for stuff, right?
Yeah.
And people want their shit now.
Yeah. So we sell on Amazon. We
Do you? Okay.
we have
okay.
over 100,000 SKUs on Amazon, man, and Amazon is amazing. And you know, Amazon is a huge, we consider them a customer because we supply to Amazon and then it goes through the FBA, Amazon Prime
Holy
network.
shit.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
And so
That's huge. That was it FBA?
yeah, fulfilled by Amazon.
Yeah.
And that they can get it to you same day, next day, you know, and all you need is their membership. So
That's nuts.
yeah, so and bolts. yeah. You know,
You were really quick on that. You've done that
I
before.
teed it up. I was like, is he gonna say it? So then in that case, I'm sure you have a handful of people like managing your SKUs because 100,000 is a lot to manage.
Yeah, oh, totally, man. So we have this kid, Dylan, man. He reminds me of a young Elon Musk. He's like super smart. He doesn't talk a ton, but his brain is like a computer and an amazing guy. It's the team of people we have a small team. He manages a small team and literally they make it happen because it's not only the pictures to get it on there, it's the descriptions, the pricing, you know, offering 5 different pricing options on every product. So if we have like a quarter 20 by 1 bolt, there's 5 different pricing options, 1 piece to a bulk box. So that one item gets 5 separate listings, and it's a lot to manage. And we just implement technology in our inventory software. We try to automate it as much as possible behind the scenes.
How many employees did you say you have?
35.
Okay, and you guys are based out of Ohio, correct?
Yes, Cleveland, Ohio area.
You guys have got to have a decently sized warehouse.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably sending a ton. So the Amazon stuff you send to Amazon too, right?
Yep.
So you probably send a ton that way as well.
Truckloads. Yeah. We started again in a little tiny garage. We moved into a 30,000 square foot facility.
So that's like Schwartz's size.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then, so we moved into that. We moved into that right after the pandemic. Pandemic was great for our business, but we can even go into that after. But moved into that, and then just in the last year, a couple buildings up, we just purchased another building that's 20,000 square foot. So we're constantly growing. I would have never thought in a million years, like with this many employees, like we don't have enough bathrooms. Like it's like stuff you would never think of.
Yeah.
We're like, hey, we need like supplies, like things like toilet paper and napkins and Keurig coffee. Like we're ordering like pallet loads of stuff now. You know, it was like
That's
normally
crazy.
just run to Walmart and grab what we need. It's just not like that anymore. It's like it's kind of wild how you like. Brain has to start adjusting to like these new situations.
Yeah.
And, you know, and like my company, like it's not all about me. Like I'm a working entrepreneur. I rarely go on vacation. I don't buy myself fancy cars, houses. Like I'm there for the team. Like I want to take everybody to the top. I want to have 500 employees. I want to have multiple locations, and I can't do that myself. It's about bringing everybody up, and there's definitely an aura in our company that helps it drive.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's like-minded, and we all get along, and we all have the same goals and aspirations, like I said earlier.
That mantra seems to be a good recipe to make a successful company.
Yeah.
You see that through and through on most of the big ones that are really killing it.
Yeah,
So.
right, and it's not about me, you know,
Yeah.
and I have 2 young boys, like I want them to have jobs, and
Yeah.
you know, like, I don't know, it's much bigger. I've never done anything for money. Like it just kind of starts happening with these things, but all the money we make, we invest back in the company, and like that's
Okay.
just super important to me. Like, I mean, I've taken like, I could be paying myself way more, but I choose not to because that takes away from, for one, the employees that are already there, but adding new employees and growing and more space and
Right.
more toilet paper, you know, like.
So I think this is a good transition then. So what do those like future investments look like? Where does this grow? Like how do we take this beyond what it is today?
Yeah, absolutely. So like, as you know, I work with a lot of YouTubers. A lot of them are down in Florida. There's a lot of natural disasters. I want to open up more shops, like distribution hubs all across the country, you know, like California, because we're in Ohio. We're kind of...
No, you're good.
So we're in Ohio, so, you know, we're not central United States, but, you know, northeastern. But, you know, we can cover that region. But Florida, we open a branch down there, so Florida customers can get stuff next day. There's a lot of, like Florida specifically, there's salt water, so they use a lot of stainless steel. They're constantly building docks. You know, unfortunately, natural disasters, those require a lot of fasteners after. So it would be different branches all over the United States. California, so we're on the West Coast. You can get stuff next same day. Yeah, it'd be more stores and just adding more people and adding more products. You know, like we're growing our electrical supplies line. We're a fastener company, but we sell a ton of electrical connectors. So we're adding, like we just added blade fuses, and we're adding inline wire connectors and just wire in itself.
Zip ties, probably.
Oh man, zip ties.
The ultimate fastener.
The ultimate fastener. We go through so many zip ties, like an insane amount of zip ties. I get a little nervous because we sell so many zip ties. I'm like, what is holding this world together?
I tell you what, as an electrician, like I buy them by bags of 1,000, and they save everything.
Yeah, they do, man. I just keep them in the truck. You never know, like anything can happen. It's just like kind of like a fail safe. That and like self-drilling screws, like, you know, it'll get you by, you know, like if something happens, like it'll get you by, or you know what I mean? So somebody's tailgating, you toss a couple out the window, whatever. But that's, so I think that would be the next big part. And like I said, adding products, I want to be a one-stop shop. So like if you're, you know, maintenance or building a car, like what is everybody using? You know, there's different, not only like the fastener might be the same, but then we add titanium, or we add, you know, brass. You know, like there's so many variations of the same fastener that everybody uses.
Well, then even just in the normal form, there's all kinds of different grades across a lot of them. So different toughness between them.
Grade 8, like threading, you know, coarse, fine, extra fine. I mean, the list goes on, you know, and that's part of that growth. Like we can't bring in too much at one time because like it just gets overloaded. So, you know, and we don't want to confuse our customers, and there's so much, we like to just kind of like step by step. Like today we're adding products, today we're adding kits, today we're just trying to sell the kits, you know, sell the products, and then like, so we do it in steps.
If I handed you a bolt, could you tell me the thread, pitch, all the size, all that stuff?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? How about what drive or what socket I would need to...
I could do that as well. Yes,
all right.
sir. Yeah, as long as it's a standard one.
Dude, that'd be such a funny video. Maybe you've even done it, like just blindfold, like, you know, just...
Feel it.
What is it? All right.
Feel it out. Yeah, that's funny.
Even do it with like employees too. Dude, that'd be so funny.
Yeah, that would be funny. See, that's the content part, you know, you gotta be creative. You know, we do some super fun stuff. Like, for instance, like we added our bolts and nut shirts, I added a red one, and I go, this is my spaghetti shirt, and I cooked 10 pounds of spaghetti that night, and I had somebody up above me, and literally I go, this is my spaghetti shirt, I take one bite, and then they just dump 10 pounds of spaghetti over my head, like completely covered in spaghetti. Like, it's fun stuff like that, you know. Or we carry these really strong zip ties. They hold 175 pounds. Like, I put on a harness, I tested it out, you know, I had a picker, and they picked me up, and they hold 175 pounds. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, right? So, I mean, some fun stuff. You know, you got to be creative. And, you know, Gary Vee said this, and I kind of did this naturally, but Red Bull, they don't post pictures of their products. Everything they post is like entertainment value, you know, whether it's like Travis Pastrana doing something crazy. And it's successful, and they don't show their products, but you know what it is. And that's what I do show our products somewhat. TikTok's a little different because we do TikTok shop. So we make a video about a product and it sells off of TikTok. But like Instagram and stuff, I like to bring knowledge. Like, this is an electrical connector, heat shrink electrical connector. How do you install it? What's the difference between grade 5 and grade 8? Why would you use grade 5 versus grade 8? I try to bring the knowledge, and the products are just there in the background, and you see them there. That's huge. Yeah, it's huge. I've never been one like, this is our bolts, buy them, or this is our kit, buy it. I'll show the kit, but I'll show the QR code because people go, dang, that's different. Like, that's something I need, you know? So the entertainment I try to bring as well.
Yeah, well, for a short time, I was doing like marketing for like small businesses, and I'm like, guys, stop doing the 90s bullshit,
Yeah.
trying to sell like, all right, here's
100%.
this and here's our catalog.
Yeah.
Rather, it's like just the education part is so huge.
Huge, yeah, because people don't know,
Right.
It's like, why would I use a grade 5 over a grade 8, or why would I use a coarse thread versus a fine thread, like people don't understand that, and I feel like it's important. I'm a fastener, as I like to call myself. My cousin Gary has that coin. That was his saying, but we're fasteners. That's just who we are.
Yeah.
Like, I am a certified fastener professional. It's a class I took. I have a plaque. Like, I've learned so much about fasteners throughout my entire life. Like, I'm just trying to share that knowledge now. People need that because it can get dangerous. Like, we supply amusement parks and they go on rides, and like people don't think about that stuff. Like, it's people's lives at stake.
My favorite is that amusement park video where the roller coaster's like shifting. Have you seen that one?
No.
Where it's like it's cracked and it's literally shifting like a foot on the top.
No, I've not seen that.
You haven't seen that one?
No,
Dude,
that's terrifying.
That's the roller coaster comes over the top and it shifts a whole foot at the top.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, unfortunately, things happen. And,
Yeah.
Sometimes it's poor spec or failed fasteners. I mean,
Right.
things can happen.
Yeah.
But that's why you got to use quality products like what we supply. Don't buy junk or the cheapest. We're super affordable, but there's really cheap stuff out there that I see, and I'm like, that's not good, man. That's not good stuff.
So are you guys doing some of the manufacturing as well then, or what exactly is the dynamic there?
Great question. So we don't do any manufacturing yet.
Okay.
We work with manufacturers, and we work with master distributors. So we vet out these companies that have been trusted, and obviously our fastener knowledge, especially through my dad's fastener company. It was a major importing role, and we vetted out the top manufacturers. All of our products get material tested, so they actually test the material, and dimensionally tested. Our parts failure rate is 50 parts per million, which is the industry standard, and that might be where
Is that's Six Sigma, I think, or whatever, right?
Possibly.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
That's me pretending to use my degree.
Yes, very nice. You're right there, sir. God, he's so smart. But man, a genius. So that might be something like a thread got nicked. That doesn't
Right.
mean like the bolt's cracked in half. I mean, they're getting cold formed, so things can happen to the tooling and whatnot. But
well, every bag of bolts I've opened up, there's this rare that you get 100% of.
right,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean it happens, but generally it's 50 parts per million if you're using real manufacturers.
Okay.
Things that go to GM and Ford, that stuff's all optically sorted by lasers, so that is a 0% defect rate.
Those OEMs are just crazy in general. Like, we had our trip to Detroit to do some podcasts out there, and seeing for example, the testing equipment for direct injectors. Like, Dan's like, yeah, you guys got more testing equipment than manufacturing equipment. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's people's lives and things like that. And my uncle, we all are in fasteners, unbelievable, but he supplied the nuke industry, and they would literally take. It's crazy, man. And they would take a single bolt, maybe 5 cents, right? And with all the testing and everything, that bolt could almost be $400 for a single bolt,
yeah.
because of all the testing that's involved to make it usable for their industry. Certifying the bolt, the material, where the bolt comes from, the material comes from, where it's ored, it comes all the way down to that.
Well, it's kind of like when that one guy shows up with a Bugatti or something at a car show. What's that guy do? Oh, he designed one bolt.
Yeah, exactly.
For the military.
I know. I'm trying to find that one bolt. Yeah, right. No, right. Definitely. Yeah, there's a lot to it. So we're more like the retail side. I don't want to get involved in aerospace. That takes a team of people, like nuke industry. There's specialty companies like the ARPs that know, they're really smart people. They have full engineering labs, and they engineer all these parts out, and that's what they specialize in. You really can't do it all. I mean,
that'd be like next generation for you.
Yeah, no, right. Maybe.
Yeah.
Depends how smart my kids are.
Yeah. There's some spaces that it's not worth diving into sometimes.
Right.
Like you said,
It's a headache. It takes teams of people to make that stuff happen, and my focus is here. I'm not like one of those guys like, oh man, what am I gonna do next? I have so many things I want to do and move on with, but it's just getting there. It's a slow process. It just doesn't happen overnight.
Do you know how many performance shops we've talked to that wish they just did alignments and changed oil?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
there's just spaces that it's hard to dabble in.
Right, exactly. Yeah. You just can't do it all. Some people try, but what happens is you got to hire all these people. They're not trained. They don't understand what they're doing, and then you start losing that connection to the customer. Your customer service starts going downhill. Manufacturing, like everything, there's more of a risk. So slow growth, you could train people, get everybody up to speed, and then carry on, you know?
Right.
And
Yeah.
the other thing too we do that's kind of unique is like, okay, we needed a warehouse manager, right, or operations manager. Instead of me going out and hiring somebody that's experienced from somewhere else, we have a lot of young people that work for us. We promote within. We'll bring a guy that's, man, a hard worker. He already understands the full job. He's kind of doing it already, and we promote within. Like our sales manager's 21 years old, but he's been doing it. He's been working for us for 2 years. He understands fasteners. They start in the warehouse. Our warehouse operations manager, 24 years old. He's worked for the company since he was 18. Like, and people see that too, so they work harder, especially knowing like my goals and what I want to do with the company. Like,
I can grow with the company.
Yes,
Yeah.
Right,
exactly.
yeah.
There's no dead ends, and man, it's helped out so much. People are really willing to learn and listen. Now there are people that they're happy where they're at, and they would never want to be more,
Yeah.
you know.
Which
But,
is a good thing too, right? Like
yeah.
some guys just like to stay the course.
Yeah, and you need that.
It's chill. You need that, yeah.
And they're great people, and they work really hard. And you know, we're busy, man. We're working a lot of overtime now, and it's
Really?
like trying to keep up with stuff. And you know, the fastener industry, it's slow right now. Everybody's on holiday break. You know, I keep saying these same production companies, but John Deere's on Christmas break. A lot of people are on Christmas. We have never been busier right now. We just had a Black Friday sale. Like fasteners, like retail fasteners is crazy busy right now because people are off of work and they're at home working on stuff
Yeah.
while they're off of work. So
like this guy redoing his entire shop the other
Yeah.
day.
right, exactly.
I throwing away some bolts and nuts. Sorry.
Don't
honestly,
don't throw them away. I'll start crying. Don't, and if you do, don't tell me.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of different than like traditional fastener distributors because of like our market and the way we do things. We were just at a fastener event. Everyone's like, yeah, it's slow time, slow seasons. It's just everyone's on vacation. It's like
You glossed over something there.
Yeah.
A fastener event. So what does that look
Yeah,
like?
Yeah.
There is an event for everything.
Yeah,
though,
right.
Yeah.
Shout
What does
out
that look like? Like you guys, like, what do the booths look
Yeah.
like? Who's selling what?
screwing around. It's a shout out North Coast Fastener Association. There's a lot of them. So it's in our local area. It's the North Coast Fasteners, but it's all these companies. We come together. We do these events like Christmas parties. We're gonna do kart racing for an upcoming event, and all these companies just get together. We just talk fasteners. A lot of us are generational. You know, we all know each other. We all do the same stuff. You know, we all like kind of the same people. So we just get together and talk fasteners. And I mean, these events bringing in like 250 people, like they're pretty big events. And it's a lot of fun. Just talk industry stuff. You know, how is the industry? Is it hot, cold? You know, what's going on?
So do you guys offer, now that I'm thinking of it and all of these other fastener companies, so like you said, though, I associate you with mechanic shops, right? But do you do everything like deck screws, all that stuff? So Grip Right's the one that comes to my mind right now because I shop at Menards a lot, right?
Right. Yes. So
you guys offer products like that too?
Similar, right? Okay. So that's like if, you know, most people like that, you're going to Home Depot. You're probably there 20 times a day,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Very rarely are you like prepared, like you don't build a lot of decks. At least it doesn't look like it.
No,
Do you? Or,
I mean, I've done a fair share, but
yeah,
yes, yeah.
I've built a couple decks too. So, but like me too, like I just go like to Home Depot, I forget something, run back and forth. I mean, that happens, but now if you're like a decking company and you want to buy stuff in bulk, like truckloads of deck screws, like yes, we sell deck screws by the package, and people do buy them from us, and they can get everything they need for them there. But you know, like we sell stuff in bulk too, where like you're not going to spend that, you know, whatever $100 for their bulk pack, like where it might be $60 from us type stuff. But we are in. Everyone thinks we're automotive because we're at an automotive event, but yeah, we're farm, energy, so solar, wind, so ag. We do 2 farm shows a year, like at farmers, like.
Oh, farmers love
They
this stuff.
love bolts, man, and they're trying to throw you cash. Literally, they bring out wads of cash. They're like, take my money. We're like, no, we don't have the products here. They're really heavy. Like, we have to ship them to you. So, but we do that, and just really every industry. They're in the chairs we're sitting on. The phone that's in your pocket is bolts. You know, so our fast screws. You know, it's just like we're literally in every industry. It's not just automotive stuff.
Right.
People see us on YouTube, they're like, oh, these guys work with mechanics, and they go, oh, Andy, he probably has a race car and a drag car. I'm like, I'm really not that much of a car guy. Yes, I have a Camaro that I love, but I'm not.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
Ford guy.
Yeah,
yeah. All right. But, yeah.
Well, you do all this YouTube stuff and the content, and it's not an old guy, definitely not a farmer space, but I'm gonna tell everybody right now, your dad wants this for Father's Day.
Yeah.
If you're a young kid, you're on YouTube, you're watching these shorts, you're gonna see these highlights that Harris puts out. You need to go to boltnut.com and get your dad one of these kits, because he doesn't want a t-shirt. This is what he needs.
And I'm pumping that right now for Christmas. Like, if you don't know what to get your weekend tinker, your dad, your cousin's brother, your best friend's pizza boy's dog's owner, like, I don't know, like, if you don't know what to get them, like, bolt kits make great gifts. I mean, you never think about it until you actually need it, you know? And yeah, they really do make great gifts, and that's kind of what we're pumping right now everywhere, you know, with the holiday seasons coming up.
Yep.
So you do a little bit of advertising beyond working with YouTubers, then, I take it?
Yeah, 100%. So,
like your SEO, your paid ads and all that?
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And we do our own TikTok. You can follow me on TikTok. I go on TikTok Live. I do cool Instagram videos. Like, I try and promote however I can. Not everybody watches YouTube, right? So you think everybody does, right? But it's just not the case. You know, I would think here, like, have you guys heard of our company? Yes, most people have heard of our company here. We've been here for 4 years, or like they've seen us on some sort of channel, but most people have not. And that's why we have to, I'm not like, everyone knows who we are. Like, you have to hit it from every avenue. And even like what you were saying about like people watch YouTube. So like a big thing that I think with the YouTube stuff is like, it's a lot of kids that watch. Like, you know, like a Whistle and Diesel video, lots of adults, but there's lots of kids that watch it.
There's got to be 14-year-old boys that like to break shit. That's
And their dads have to fix it. Yeah, right?
My daughter's boyfriend loves the Sea-Boys, and I didn't even know who they were until I talked to him, and I live in Minnesota area.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I love the Sea-Boys, man. Those guys are great. But so the way I look at it is, right, so these 14-year-olds aren't buying bolts today.
Yeah.
Now they have a parent or know somebody that's constantly working on stuff. They might tell them about it. But if anything, they're going to be using bolts someday, you know, whether they work in an industry where they use bolts every day, or they're fixing their home or building something. So it's almost like planting seeds, you know, and they remember that stuff. So.
And they're only going to know how to use their phone to do everything.
Yeah, right, exactly, right. Yeah. Win-win.
Do you guys have any like special programs for like schools or anything like that?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. So we work with a lot of schools. We supply a lot of their like they have race teams, this and that. We do a lot of sponsorships. Beyond YouTube. Yeah, we work with a ton of schools. Yeah, I mean, I was a kid. I was 23 when I started the company. I'm fully self-taught. Like, I love speaking the word, like trying to inspire people to be great. Like, I speak to our local college. I do our the entrepreneurs class at our local community college. I speak to them twice a year. I try to inspire people because I'm not the smartest guy by any means. Super hard worker. I know a little bit about everything, but I'm not the smartest guy on the planet. It's just not fact. There's people that are way, way smarter than me, but I have a great business sense. Business is my specialty, and I just try and teach people, how can you become something? How do I take my idea from an idea to like a product or a business or a service? You know, we all have friends. Hey man, I have this idea. I always tell people, don't tell me about your idea. Come tell me when you started it. Like, that's when I want to hear about it. We all have ideas. Like, quit talking about it and go do it. You know, that's just how it is. You know,
if you don't, you might see it show up later. Then you're going to be kicking yourself.
100%, man. I have friends that reach out to me, man. Dude, you've been talking about the same idea for 6-7 years now. It's like, if you would have just kind of got started with it, you know, it's like a gamble or a risk sometimes. Like, just go for it. See what happens. You could fail, but you'll get better. You know, you'll learn something. Like, it's just the way it is.
Yep.
So.
Are you guys on TikTok Shop as well?
Yes, sir.
I feel like you're on top of everything, but I like asking these questions. I'm like, you know, provide some
TikTok
value.
has been great, man. I mean, I love TikTok. I had a buddy that sells supplements on there, and I watched his business grow through social media, and I was like, man. And I started actually buying sports cards off of TikTok Shop. My wife's like yelling at me. It's like, another $30, you know, $100. What's this? And I'm like, all right, maybe I should just post my stuff on there and try and get on the other end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's been great. TikTok Shop's an amazing
It's ridiculous right now.
It's an amazing platform. People literally laying in bed at night, like busy time is like, yeah, like I said, laying in bed at night, just buying stuff off TikTok. It's crazy. It's crazy.
So obviously, like, I've heard from, like, for example, like one of our buddies has a mandrel company and all that. Like, he can't compete on Amazon or TikTok prices because of, you know, China suppliers and whatever. Does that affect you at all, or not really? Or?
No. So we sell fasteners. Right. It's the same thing. It's super competitive, but we built a trusted brand. It's not about, like, I used to worry about the competitors. They would keep me up at night, like, oh my gosh, because we would design these bolt kits. They would post literally copy the same bolt kit, sell it for $1 less, like on an eBay, and then we just get undercut and they get all the sales. But it's all about building a trusted brand that people want and know. And that's the difference. Like, yes, go buy the cheap stuff, whatever. If you want to be that person, but you missed out. You didn't get the bolts and nuts stuff. Like, you missed out. Like, and that's how I feel about it now. So I believe in the brand, and everyone that makes it happen believes in it. And, like, if you want to go somewhere else, go somewhere else. You know, we're offering you an amazing price. You're getting everything with it. You know it's high quality. You know it's going to be there on time. Like, you get stickers, and we have a cool, like, there's apparel, merch. Like, I like building a cool brand that people just know and trust. That's the difference. And I used to stay up about, I don't even look at the competitors anymore. I have too many things that I want to do first, you know, like, there's no sense in that. So.
If you're giving up 10 or 20% of your energy trying to look at the other guy, you'd rather be better off investing in yourself.
Dude, I have stayed many nights, like, literally my wife, like, it would be like a wave of sweat and like almost like a panic attack. Like, just looking on there, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're doing this, they're doing that. And like the first 5 years, it was terrible. But like, now I'm at a point now where it's like, no, we're a brand. People know who we are. Like, we've built this thing over time, slowly. The thousands and millions of hours it took to going and building this thing. Like, that's who we are. And this is the outcome we wanted from it. And like, that's just, it doesn't happen overnight. I'm not saying that you build a brand. You have to build there, and if you build it, they will come, I will say.
Right.
And you believe in it, it'll happen.
This, the phone call from Cleetus, did that kind of blow it up then? So like, if you go too fast sometimes and something like that happens, if you're not prepared for it too, then that can be a nightmare.
Yeah, so we were already selling on Amazon. Again, Amazon's huge for us. We were selling on Amazon, eBay, our websites. Stellar business, right?
Yeah.
What that helped with was getting our name out there and making a brand, right? It was like brand recognition. No, we don't go get a million orders, and no, like, I've done so many of these channels, and you're like, oh man, they, you know, whatever, they paid X amount of dollars, they made 10 times that. That is never the case. You're gonna lose money every time, but what you're doing is people see that stuff. So when, like, I can't sell you a bolt today, like, here's a 3/8 by 1, buy this. But when you need that 3/8 by 1, you're gonna think about me because you saw it on this. So it's like the long game of it. And that's the way I look at it. Now, Cleetus was a different story. First time breaking out on the internet, 17,000 people went to our website at one time, just checking it out.
Holy crap.
It shut it down. They thought it was a cyber attack. But, you know, so there was that. But they weren't there to place orders. They were just looking and to see what we do and how it is. You know what I mean? So that was a great question.
Yeah. Well, you know, you got to lay the groundwork sometimes. Like you said, you like to go in steps.
Yeah.
Get there, perfect it, next one.
Right. And like we have a lot of YouTubers that reach out to us, and like, I can't just commit to everybody too at this point.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I want to do it for everybody, and like, I don't want to feel like I'm missing out on stuff, but because I physically travel there, I deal with these people directly. Like, I have a wife and family at home, and I got to be at the shop to, you know, make sure things are going okay, and like, I have work I have to do, so I can't do everybody, and I've had to learn that. If you say yes to everybody, you're saying no to yourself.
Well, to everybody as well, right?
Right. Yeah. Yes, exactly. So, you know, I turned down 10 podcasts to do this one, so I appreciate you guys.
Well, we think you made the right choice.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Dan's got some sore knees, but hey. He really he's killing it over here.
Hey, I'm happy to be here, guys. And you know, again, I always, like I said, I appreciate this.
Well, dude, we love doing stuff like this. Like, SEMA's great, but PRI is so much more tight knit. Like, you can just walk up to anybody up here. It's awesome. Like, just on the way here, we passed Jay Meager, we paid past Dalton from Scrap Life, like
Yeah.
all these people that like, I watch these channels and seeing them in person, and they're just regular people. It's
Right,
super cool.
100%. Yeah, and I've never been to SEMA because we're from Ohio, so this
Right.
is super close. It's 5.5 hour drive. But from what I heard, like a lot of that, it's so big. Excuse me.
You're good.
And a lot of people, excuse me, CBR.
Just passes out right here. He's really screwed up.
Excuse me. Yeah.
We can't save you for legal reasons, so we
Yeah.
apologize.
Excuse me, I'm lightheaded. But from what I hear, and I've never been to SEMA, is it's like so big, and a lot of people are there to just like party, gamble, have a great time.
Yeah.
It's kind of like getting out of the office. Yeah, you say hi to people, but it's not like super businessy. But here, what's nice about this is like a lot of people are here trying to sell their products,
Yep.
trying to like work with businesses. There's a lot of influencers here talking to businesses, trying to get their next big project rolling. And I feel like it's more like serious here versus like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you guys been to SEMA?
Yes.
Yes.
This is our second
It's-
time at each one.
Okay.
It's more, I feel like SEMA's more like where really big deals get done. It's all these like really big people probably
Right,
meeting
right.
afterwards.
Partying
I'm
too,
picturing
though.
them like,
Yeah.
a little bit of that, but they're meeting in a lobby somewhere, smoking cigars and cutting big deals. Here, like I bought a welder here. I don't even think you can buy anything at SEMA.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like there's some stuff you
They'll
can
run
get
some
here.
show discounts and stuff, though.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's
just so big,
It's a little
though.
bit different. This is more of your shops, the real guys that are out there on
Right.
the track, that kind of
Right,
stuff. Not that those
right.
people don't go to SEMA as well. This is just
Right.
a little bit more real race car stuff.
Yeah.
Well, we were also just talking with Sam from Minnesota Performance. Like, he's able to go up to, who did he go up to? ARP, I think. He's like, hey, we're having this problem. How can we solve this? And they're like, you know what? Talk to you on Monday.
Yeah.
Like you could put a
Gotcha.
face to a name out here, and
Yeah.
it's not to the point where it's like too busy, right? Like even at Apex Turbo yesterday, who we did a podcast with, like they had 30 people there, and they're able to talk to everybody. SEMA, I feel like it's a
Yeah.
little more crowded.
Right,
A
that's
lot
what I
more
heard.
spectators.
Yeah, right. And you're kind of like trying to shuffle people out like
Right.
real quick to, just get them through so you can move on to the next.
You're right. You can do a lot more work here.
Right, it is. I mean, what I really like too is, again, I'm not a huge car guy, but everybody here is automotive, like-minded. It's like a community feeling here. Like we're all
Yeah.
in this together here, and I really do love PRI. It's my absolute favorite trade show, and I look forward to it every year. Unless there's cigars. There's cigars in SEMA?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I'm sure there's still plenty of those deals going on here.
Yeah, right.
There was a guy walking around here yesterday with a stogie in his mouth.
That's
Remember
true.
that guy?
Oh, that's true.
He's just walking around.
Sir.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But like the OEs sometimes go to SEMA. Like the Toyota sets up a
Right,
booth. You're not
right,
seeing
right,
that here, right? Like,
They're
yeah.
showing the next big
Right,
product.
multi-million-dollar companies.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
that there aren't multi-million-dollar companies here too, but it's real big over there.
demonstrations, and like I
Right.
know they do like a lot of events and stuff, which is cool. It's like the entertainment side of it too,
Yeah.
and like people are curious. It's like a bigger car show. This isn't so much like a car show. It feels, from what everything I saw,
Yeah.
it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like there are cars here, but it's not like a huge car show where you can go walk the car show, and then there's like a burnout contest at 3, like those
Right.
types of things.
These are the
Drifting
people that build the cars for those shows.
Yes, right,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly.
Not a lot of Bluetooth drive shafts out here.
No. There is a legit race car right behind us that looks like it won Dragon Drive, or a Dragon
I
Drive.
thought it was a Tesla. It's not a Tesla.
It's Tesla swapped.
Tesla swap.
Yeah,
I can tell. Yeah, those Hoosiers are huge on that Tesla.
Oh, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, the turbo on that Tesla is like this big. Right? That's wild.
So you say you're not a huge car guy, but like, so are you a golf guy? What's going on here?
Yeah, so I'm actually working on my private pilot's license. I love airplanes. I've always loved airplanes. I love helicopters.
We know a guy like that.
It's the inside joke from earlier this week.
All right.
Fill you in off
I
camera.
almost laughed like I knew. But I was the kind of guy and kid, like every time I hear a helicopter, like I'll go running from my desk to look up to see what it is, like military helicopter, whatever. I go running for the door or window whenever I hear a helicopter. So, and with all the traveling I do, I travel like 2-3 times a month going to all these different YouTube channels and whatnot. Like, I just want to fly myself there. And it's really like a late life passion because I didn't have any hobbies for like the last 10 years because I've just been working and working. And so like this is something I really like do for myself, and like I want to take the family places, and it's very serious. Like I love challenging things and I love to challenge myself, and it's a ton of learning. And so yeah, I've been flying airplanes. Yeah.
Well, you just want some Ray-Bans. You want to feel like you're in Top Gun.
Top Gun, yeah. Got to play the Top Gun theme for me. Yeah, but
you have any kind of like plane in particular? I know this is turning less automotive by the second, but
No, my grandpa used to fly stuff. When he retired, he got his license, and
did he?
We would fly out. We had he also did a fishing charter on Lake Michigan, so we would fly from southern Minnesota, land there, and then we'd go spend the summers in his camper, and I'd have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, go help on the fishing boat.
Really?
Yeah,
okay,
it was cool. So yeah, I've flown in all kinds
was
of stuff.
Was it like Piper? Or was
it was like a Cessna, like a single
They're bumpy,
Cessna.
man.
Yeah,
it's different. It's different. Yeah.
When I was a kid, now as an adult, when I know things, I might have been more scared. But then, like, you trust my dad's in the passenger seat, my grandpa's fine, I'm in the back. Like, I'm gonna be fine. I'm with these guys.
Right, exactly.
I
mean, I don't, fatalities happen on planes. A lot of times, most of the time, it's pilot error. Bad weather, things happen. I mean, unfortunate side of the.
At my middle school, a small plane crashed like a couple months ago. Like just came out of the air. It had a soft landing. I think they lived. But it was just so weird. Like that's like it was the kickball field.
Gosh, yeah, you look for fields. Like that's the procedure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the ABCC. Airspeed. First thing you do is you want to slow the plane down to give you the most amount of time. So you pitch up.
Okay.
On my plane, I fly a Piper, 76 knots. Best landing is B. So you're gonna look around. You're gonna look for a field. C is gonna be your controls. So you're looking, make sure you're on a fuel tank that has fuel in it. Mixture, your primer's locked in, try and get the plane started if you can, if the engine failed or died. And then C is your comms, you make your calls, Mayday calls. So
what was the acronym for that?
ABCC.
Okay.
Yeah, it's super, don't forget that one, man.
Something to learn.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, ABC.
Someday,
first lesson's free.
Someday,
lesson's free.
Yeah. Dude, you're ready to fly.
Do you carry a little baggie of like screws and fasteners? With
just
you on
in
a plane?
case, just in case. No, unfortunately.
Just
I don't do
reassemble the
aerospace.
plane like
no
a cartoon?
aerospace. I stay away from aerospace.
Well, it's a whole nother animal. Like I think about it all the time because I break shit on my car all the time. There's even color-coded like zip ties and things are marked. Like there is a whole nother level to aircraft then.
Yeah, that goes back to like what I was saying about the power plants. Like that one screw, yes, it's just a standard hex head bolt, but it has to go through like an airplane mechanic for like an actual airplane. Like you can't just go fix your plane yourself. That's against the law. You need a certified mechanic to fix your plane, and those bolts have to be tested. They have to have all the certifications for aerospace and whatnot. So the FAA is very strict, and there's a reason for that. The last 100 years of aviation, like it's like all trial by fire. Like we've gotten to the strict FAA regulations because of things that have happened throughout
the
warning
labels are there for a reason.
Harris thinking he can just build an airplane in his backyard and take off.
Well, you technically can. You can build an experimental plane and you can totally take off. Yeah.
So then, obviously, you've gotten to meet quite a bit of YouTubers and such. I mean, has that been coupled with some fun experiences as well, I'm sure?
It's a great question.
How many flamethrowers have you held?
I've shot some guns for sure, some fully automatic guns.
No flamethrowers yet?
Oh, yeah, no flamethrowers. I would love that. That's what I'm saying for this podcast. Where they at, guys?
Tell him what he's won, Dan.
So a couple cool things. So I'll start with the flying thing. I did get to fly with Cleetus McFarland in his his Carbon Cub, which was an absolute amazing experience. Always been a big fan of Cleetus. I love aviation. He literally, like I told him I'm working on my license. He's like, when you leaving? I'm like, tomorrow night. He's like, meet me at my hangar at 7. So we got to fly around Florida and got to check out his new airfield, and we got to land in water. We watched the gators like swim off, and
that's cool.
He let me take off, and it's super, dude. That was a dream come true, man. I'm the luckiest guy for that. Super thankful for him for that.
Does that ever blow your mind, like just going from a guy that was like watching his videos to like flying his plane?
It's surreal every single time. I still get like, I see these guys, I'm like, I get like, oh, okay, get it together, man. Like, I pinch myself, like
woosah.
breathe, but Another really, really cool one was Demolition Ranch. I don't know if you're familiar. It's a gun channel. We got to shoot. So I take these bolt kits and I have them sign them, and we put them in like showcases in our building. So when you're walking through, you can see like a AdamLZ T-shirt with a signed kit box that was used in his shop. So Demolition Ranch, we brought a bolt kit for him to shoot and sign. Well, he let us shoot, and we got to shoot a gold-plated 50 caliber Desert Eagle.
Yep.
And we shot the bolt kit, right? So one of the lock washers actually caught a bullet. So we were digging through the dirt, and he pulls up this washer. He goes, "Dude, this washer caught a bullet. Like that would never ever happen again. Like just hit the right part of the kit, I guess." But yeah, I've shot other guns with other YouTubers. I won't say which ones those are. But like, even it's so much, it's not just that stuff, but like going to lunch with these guys and dinners, and you know, like it's cool. Matt's Off-Road Recovery took me for a tour of Utah. Forget what the place is, but like he took me around in his Corvair. The guy absolutely loves Corvairs. He knows everything about every Corvair, everything from the color to the engine, and like I like asked him a question, and literally he just will go on and on and on and on. You almost have to like, "Matt, we got to go somewhere." He's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry." Like he loves Corvairs, and he's a super cool dude. He knows everything about them. But he took me around and drove me in a couple of his Corvairs, and that was a really fun experience too. My dream, and Adam, if you watch this, I don't know if you do or not, I want to go in a drift car, friend. You said you have, so I want AdamLZ to take me around in a drift car. That's like that's like one of my future things that I really want to happen.
I almost had that opportunity last year, except at a SEMA, because they were doing ride-alongs. It was him, Von Ginn Jr. and Chelsea DeNofa.
Yeah.
I was about to get into Adam's car, but something was wrong or whatever. Like it was more than like a tire change at that point, because they were ripping these cars all day. So I ended up riding with Vaughn, which is super cool, right?
Wow.
But yeah, that was super cool.
Wow, yeah, that's super cool.
But it was like, oh, Adam was right there too. Like, it's like...
I think you just didn't like your face.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it you?
Yeah,
right. It's like, oh, car's broken.
He's like, I don't want that tall, fat guy.
Yeah.
It really screws with the car.
Yeah.
But no, it's like, yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so
does anything call you particularly to the drift space, or you just think it looks fun? Or?
So, yeah, I love that Adam is like, he's like, people don't understand, like when drifting on like the screen is one thing, but when you see it live, like that stuff is insane. Like these guys are flying, you know, and it's just super accurate and it's dangerous. I mean these guys like right next to each other, like there's a wall behind you, you know, his is like around his shops, you know, it's like his compound, like that's insane, man. So
I'd love to know who his insurance company is.
Yeah, right. I've always been a big fan of Adam's. It'd be like a dream come true for me. Okay. And he said he would. We just, you know, there's a lot of people working there through his businesses and whatnot. So like, you have to go at the right time, and you know. So, and sometimes he's out of the office when I'm there and things of that nature. So, but yeah, I'd love to ride with Adam. Try to think, what else have I done that's super cool? I mean, really, the best part to me is setting up the bolt bins, man. I love fasteners at the end of the day, so it's super cool just to be there. And literally, like, you see, like, Cleetus's cars. All those cars are built from the bolt bins, you know? They were just tired of going to the hardware store, running to Ace 20 times a day.
Real quick, guys, if you are this far into this episode, I just wanted to let you know that Andy hooked us up with a discount code. So if you wanted to get a little screwy and get some bolts and nuts and what have you, go ahead and use Minnoxide 10 at checkout to save 10% on your order today.
Wow, Leroy, like that's like so crazy that this whole car was built from bolts that came from the bolt rack that I put in there and I service for them. Like it's so surreal, but it's humbling, you know, like I'm not like, oh man, like it's just surreal to me. It's super surreal, and I'm forever thankful for that. So, and what these guys do for me.
It's we've been, as this has been growing too, we've been getting to meet more and more famous people, and it's been a little bit of a weird deal.
It's trippy, man.
Yeah, but they're real people, as you guys learn, man. You're like you said, you watch them on YouTube, maybe YouTube TV, but you go watch these guys, and man, it's like you start to meet them, they're just regular dudes, and that's why they're successful, because they are themselves. Like, it's the guys that aren't themselves that end up going nowhere, you know? Right. Really, you just got to be yourself.
Well, I keep walking past Christy Lee, though, and it's the one that I can't. I get tongue-tied every time.
Is that who it is?
Yeah, I can't. Christy, if you're out there, sorry that I'm so weird every time I see you.
I thought it was me, man.
Dang. You should see him sweating bullets. He's like, can I go say hi?
Andy the Bolt guy. Andy the Bolt guy. Jeez. But Yeah, man, it's a really cool experience from a guy that just thought he was going to be a business owner into this world of all this cool stuff. And like, you know, I mean, really, if you put in hard work, I mean, good things can come, you know? You got a good brain, you know how to talk to people. I mean,
these are all trainable things,
You
too.
do what you say you're going to do, like, good things will come. You just got to work hard, and that's what separates the boys and the men, so.
Yeah. What's your biggest competitor out there? Would it be glue?
Oh my gosh. Who is it? You're going to make
glue? Yeah,
Glue.
or just like
My
anything,
biggest-
like what's...
Well, I'm going to go with the opposite of our name.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say that, but there's obviously competitors, but none of these are like, these are generational family companies, you know? Like, so I don't really look at them and like they're there, but like we all kind of do our own thing. We have our own customers and we focus on different parts of the industries, and it is what it is. You know, they're out there. I mean, there's the big guys, like I said earlier, the Fastenal's the worst, the McMaster cars, all super great companies, but we all kind of do our own thing.
Right.
Know?
That's what it seems like. You're just kind of in your own lane.
Yeah, I stay there.
I really like the idea of you expanding, especially to Florida. That sounds, that seems cool.
And
I was more getting at the like what would somebody be using other than bolts? You know what I mean? Like, do you just hate welding?
yeah, right.
It was.
I don't know. They're just in everything. Like I said,
Yeah, I
I'm
know,
selling the same one
yeah.
my great-great-grandfather sold. Like, they have not changed. I'm just trying to make them cool, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went from the nerdy AV kid to trying to make bolts cool. Like, it's still super nerdy at the end of the day. But, I mean, that's all it is. Really, it's the same thing, you know? As long as you're not getting the cheap junk and you're buying from a reputable source, I mean, it's really all the same thing.
Right.
Just how you come across it.
Well, as we wrap up here a little bit, one of my questions I've been kind of thinking about the whole show is like, what was it like letting go of the reins, right? You said you put a president in charge now. You're dealing more so with the personalities.
Yeah.
What was that like, letting the reins
Dude,
go?
it was so tough.
Really?
So my dad, one thing he always instilled in me, two things. Good credit. Don't mess up your credit, you know? Like, my family, notorious for bad credit. But, you know, they've made a lot of mistakes. It's all growing pains. None of us, like, went to college or anything. But
If you guys are enjoying the show so far, just go ahead and drop a subscribe or a follow if you haven't already, just so you get notified the next time we do an awesome episode like this. Let's get back to the show.
delegate. My dad always told me to delegate.
Yeah.
Because what ends up happening in business, and I've learned this as I grow, right? I wanted to be involved in everything. I built everything. I was doing the accounting. I was doing the phone. Like, I felt like I needed to be involved in everything. What ends up happening is you end up becoming a paperweight. So if I'm involved in everything, nothing gets done because I'm spread so thin. So delegate. So bringing in this president, this management, it was one of the toughest things I have ever had to do. But when you look at the big picture and where I want to take it, now I can like more steer the ship versus like rowing the ship, you know?
Right.
Like, you know, but we're rowing all towards a bigger boat, you know? It's not all for me, it's for everybody that's rowing, you know what I mean?
So what kind of decisions were taken off your plate, and what kind of decisions are you making now?
So everybody reports to the president. So the one thing I've had to learn over the last few years is middle management, right? So like, not everybody can report to the president. You have to have somebody for our bagging division, our packaging receiving division. They all have a manager they report to, and then the managers report to the president. So if the president wants something done, he doesn't go to the guy that's going to do it. He will speak to the manager who makes it happen and make sure it's done well. So it's just kind of broken up, so nobody's overwhelmed. You know, I don't want people to feel like, man, this is all on my shoulders. Like, it's broken up to where it's easier for us to operate without people becoming, like I said, overwhelmed or stressed about things.
Right. So now you kind of handed off the day-to-day operations. You're more so big picture now.
Yeah, right,
okay.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and
chief installer, too.
Yeah, chief installer. I love it, man. I can't give that up. I love going to the channels. Like, it's just like, I'm so giddy about that stuff. Like, I do love, like, absolutely love it. Yeah, all the traveling sucks, but like when I'm there, like, I just love being there. And the shop. So yes, the YouTuber people are there, but I get along with the shop guys, man. Like, the shop guys are where it's at, and like, they're the ones that are making a lot of this stuff happen behind the scenes. Like, and I absolutely love them, and I talk to them way more than I do the person that is the YouTuber, you know. And so I love talking bolts, man. It's just what I know. It's what I do, and That's what it is.
What's the getting the product like? Because this has to be a space that I'm assuming 99% of it comes from overseas. I would
Yeah,
assume.
right. Yeah. So we get that a lot too. So we work with manufacturers. A lot of it comes from overseas. We work with Canadian manufacturers, so North American
okay.
bolts. One of the biggest bolt manufacturers is in Canada, but we also stock full USA lines, product lines of fasteners. So you can buy fully USA made kits from us because we'll be at the farm show. I'll start. I'm from Cleveland. Cleveland was the steel capital of the world. And in my generations of these fasteners, they literally took all the steel mills, all the steel workers, and they shipped all those jobs overseas. So like people were scorned and angry about that. So we know that. So we go to these farm shows. Guys are like, where are your bolts made? You know, expecting me to be like, oh, China.
Yeah.
But like, if your question is like, you want them to be USA made, we offer those too. Like you can get USA made bolts
That's
from
awesome.
us. Yeah, like, so that's a problem. And we kept hearing it. It's like, well, let's sell USA made bolts. If you want to pay, it's not that much more. And I will pump the USA stuff. Like I have a TikTok videos with Uncle Sam suits on, promote the USA made products.
If people want it, you know, you have it.
100%.
So I guess I'm putting you on the spot here. Do you know what percentage of your business is USA bolts?
That's a great question. So most of the products, because it's such a 24,000 products,
Right.
maybe 700 of them are USA.
Okay.
So like, it comes down to what people want to buy, right?
Exactly.
It's not that much more for USA. It really, at the end of the day, it isn't. And the import stuff is not garbage. We buy from reputable manufacturers that have quality processes, ISO certified, where they have strict procedures on how these things are manufactured. So it's not junk, the overseas stuff, but the USA stuff is more, right? So if you're building a car, you need 4 bolts. Yes, if I buy the USA bolts, it costs me 50 cents more. Now, if you need 100,000 bolts and
Different story.
Yeah, it's a different story.
Yeah.
You know, then you might consider it. So,
Well, you have to do it to be competitive. Like you would love to be like, yeah, I'm only going to sell this, but that's in the reality, that's not the case.
Right,
You can't. I love that you're doing it both ways. If you want that option, we have that option. But to 80% of the other people, you can't because they're going to just go somewhere else.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So, some people are price conscious, and other people are. They don't like they want the USA made stuff.
Right.
Like that's just the difference. So, and that's something I've learned. And yeah, that was something we added like 2 years ago, just because it came up so much.
Right.
If I keep hearing something, I'm gonna end up doing it.
That's
like,
right.
It's a we talk to people. I didn't build any of this company for myself or what I think it should be. I built it by listening to people. The whole website was designed by me from the consumer's perspective. Like I built it for you guys and everyone that's using them. I want it to be easy. You go on there, split up inch bolts, metric bolts. What are you looking for? And then it breaks down into the subcategories. Like I wanted it to be easy. It's not for me, it's for you.
Right.
I love I've lately been on this little like USA kick. Like right now I'm wearing Origin jeans. I don't know if you've heard of them, but like they're made completely into USA.
Nice.
Like most of our clothes are overseas. Like
Right.
So I'm a little bit of on a kick for that lately.
Well,
but
we might have to, and we can cut this part out if you don't want to get. Not trying to make this political, but like, is the new proposed like tariff stuff? Is that a concern for you guys? Are you looking into that as that kind of comes into play?
So, the way I look at that, and this isn't the first time. Like I've been selling or working in the fastener industry since I was 15. I'm 35 now, so I'm 20 years in. This is not the first tariffs, anti-dumping, things from China. The thing is it's industry-wide. So like if my competitors are gonna get hit with that same tariff, so it's gonna raise prices at the end of the day, which is a bummer. Like nobody likes to raise prices. I hate raising prices, but it's gonna end up raising prices. And people don't understand this, but I don't know the exact percent, but it's well over 90% of all the steel, even if it's made in the USA, that steel still comes from China. They just ship over the wires, the cables, the raw steel still comes from China. So it's also going to raise the price on USA made bolts. They're just made in the USA, but the steel still, China Steel Corp is the biggest steel manufacturer on the planet, so it's industry wide. We'll take it as it comes and we'll adjust. We obviously have to keep the lights on. We have to pay our employees. So if it does happen, it's going to end up making us raise our prices, but it's nothing I'm concerned about because everybody's unfortunately going to have to do it.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I want things to be affordable, and we will keep it as low as we possibly can. But at the end of the day, we have bills we have to pay.
Right.
You know?
Well, sweet. On that note, Dan, do you want to pop the usual 3?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we didn't prepare you for this one.
I
yeah.
took 2 earlier. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my God.
At the end of every episode, you can throw me off now a little bit. At the end of every episode, we like to ask our guests to pick 3 cars.
Okay.
I need a show car. All right, it's all right. We need a show car, a daily driver,
Sure.
and a track car. You can
Okay.
pick anything you want. You can swap anything you want. Limited budget.
Unlimited budget.
Yep,
Unlimited budget. All right.
that's fine. That's fine.
All right, so let me go through the
We're
list.
really popular here. We have people walking by here that we know. So yeah.
We're so famous.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to go through the list. So right off the bat, no Fords. I'm sorry for that. So, all right, going to take Ford off the brain. No.
Okay.
So I really, I'm a Chevy guy. I have a Camaro.
Yeah.
The new ZR1 is an unbelievable car. I really love what they've done with that car. The track car would probably be the ZR1. Track car, show car. That's a great question, man. Probably, I would say a Restomod. I don't want to make anyone angry. Oh,
That's fine.
Nah.
You have an unlimited budget. You can pay
All
those
right,
people
I'm gonna
off.
go back. All right, we're
Yeah.
taking a Ford. I'm gonna go GT500, and we're gonna go with the '67 GT500.
Solid choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Nice.
we'll take that. Just I love those cars, like the Eleanor
Yeah.
style cars. And then what was it? Daily.
Daily, yep.
Ah man, there's just so many. I don't want to go for like the guy that's like Bugatti, you know, like because they're.
We have plenty
We've
of
only
those
heard
people.
Bugatti as daily once. It's usually Koenigsegg.
Yeah.
What is the new? There's like an all electric. It's 1900 horsepower. I don't know how to pronounce it. I just
The
saw
Rimac?
it. What is it?
Rimac?
No.
The new company that partnered with Bugatti?
Yeah.
That has the
it.
1900 with the Navara?
Yes.
Is that what you're thinking about?
Yes. Okay. It's a 2-word name, right? No. All right. So okay, I'm gonna go
your
daily. Ah, gosh, man. I just feel like the car world's so judgy. You say one thing and like you piss off the
You
whole.
can't win. You can't win.
Yeah, you're gonna get judged either
Dude,
way,
I
doesn't
rode
matter.
in a Boosted Boy Kyle's Tesla Plaid, man. Dude, that car is so fast and it's so fun and it kind of drives itself. Like
It'd be a great daily.
it would be a great daily.
They cost a nickel now, too.
And I'm
Yeah.
not like, EV guy. Like, it just, I love technology. I'm a huge technology person. I love computers. I love and I like Elon Musk. I think he's a very interesting person. I'm gonna go Tesla Plaid. Let's go.
Justin White, who tunes a ton of Chevys, he owns 2 of them, doesn't he? Did you see it before this?
I know for sure he has one Tesla.
Yeah, so that's common across
Yeah.
even race car guys. They're not as nose turned up to as you might think.
Okay, gotcha.
The more people we talk to, the more we realize that people are like, EVs, but you got to respect it in some instances.
Yeah, they're safe. I mean, it's a safe car, and I got a family. Like, I don't know. I love the technology, and like, you know, if they can self-drive, I think that's cool, man. It's technology. I'm a big guy with technology, so.
And
Tesla Plaid, really.
I'm going to go ahead and quote my friend Tim DeCicero here when I'm going to say the Camaro was so great they killed it twice.
Yes,
Anyway,
that's funny.
Well, sweet. On that note, where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find us on social media. A lot of it, just type in Bolts and Nuts and it'll pop up. It's boltsandnuts_com, boltsandnuts.com. So Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. You can also find me directly. I'm Andy the Bolt Guy on all social media. The company's Bolts and Nuts. And your favorite automotive YouTuber, hopefully. See us there. And then if you're interested in any of our fasteners, it's boltsandnuts.com.
Awesome. Dan?
you can find us at Gunna Garage. There might be a really embarrassing video of me racing Garrett down the hallway here.
It's super embarrassing.
Yeah, it's great. You know what? I'm fine with it.
I'm curious, like, once we're done here, I'm curious how many views it's at.
Yeah,
Actually, let's see. Let's
Yeah,
give it a
do it
gander right
live.
now.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's do it live-ish.
Live-ish.
Because that was hysterical.
Live-ish.
Let's see. Give her a gander.
You're trying to get more industry
15,000.
secrets?
No,
15,000?
really?
Yeah, 50,000 views.
Okay.
But anyways, and on that note, you guys know where you're at the Minnoxide channel. Be sure to check out the rest of our podcasts. PRI has been a blast. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Dan, thanks for existing.
Yeah.
And we'll see you all next time.
Right back at you. Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate y'all.